Happening today, two teenagers accused of setting a home on fire in Green Valley Ranch, killing a family of 5, are expected in court.
And 90's reporter Darius Johnson is following the court hearings. He joins us from the courthouse this morning. Darius, one of the hearings this afternoon could be essential to this whole trial.
Yeah, that's right. 18-year-old Gavin Seymour will be in court later this afternoon, and right now he is facing charges of first-degree murder as well as arson. Back in August, his attorney was fighting with the judge to conceal some evidence from a Google search warrant that was collected during, a Google search that was collected during a search warrant. Now, this stems from an arson fire on August 5th of 2020, where court documents say Kevin Bowie, Gavin Seymour, and a third teenager went to a home on Truckee Street in Green Valley Ranch, poured accelerant, and set it on fire. 2 adults and a child escaped by jumping through a window, and 5 members of the Joel family did not survive. 3 adults, a 2-year-old, and an infant all died. The motive, revenge. According to court documents, Kevin Bowie was robbed of his cell phone and money in City Park while engaging in illegal activity. He then tracked his phone on his iPad, where it pinged to the home on Truckee Street. It wasn't until after the house burned that they realized it was the wrong home. Police said based on the search warrant served to Google, they were able to learn that the 3 looked up the exact address to the home multiple times just 2 weeks before the fire. Now, today's hearing will center and focus around that search warrant that was executed for that Google search data. Gavin Seymour's attorney argued that the warrant was too broad and that it also violates Fourth Amendment rights of unreasonable searches and seizures. Now, he wants that evidence to be thrown out. A judge is expected to rule on this later on in court. That court hearing for Seymour is expected to take place at 1:30 this afternoon. Of course, we'll be in the courtroom.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, there has been precedent before where Google searches and social media and all kinds of things have been used as evidence in cases.
Yeah, you have plenty of cases all the time where people are going back and collecting phone data, collecting phone evidence, and doing all of those different things to try to piece a lot of these things together. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what the judge has to say about it.
All right, Darius, thanks for the update. This morning, Loveland city manager is still on the job. Last night, the mayor introduced a motion to suspend him with pay, but that motion failed. City manager Stephen Adams was charged with harassing an independent journalist at the courthouse back in March. That journalist, Stacy Lynn, had her camera rolling. She says Adams locked eyes with her, leaned in, and hit her in the shoulder. She called it a flat-out shoulder check and filed a report with the sheriff's office. After the motion to suspend him failed last night, the mayor filed a different one to have a meeting later this month to talk about the situation. Council members voted against that one too, 6-3. They are scheduled to bring it up again, though, next month.
Right now in the race for the 3rd Congressional District, Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert still has about 1,100 more votes than Democratic challenger Adam Frisch. That number hasn't changed since Thursday night. We're still waiting on ballots from overseas and military voters. Voters with signature issues have until tonight to fix them so their ballots can be counted. Voters in Pueblo County and across Colorado's 3rd Congressional District are being tracked down by political groups on both sides trying to make their ballot count.
Yeah, they have been making phone calls and knocking on doors, apparently quite a bit. 90's reporter Jordan Chavez is following the story. And Jordan, some of the voters are getting annoyed by this whole process.
Even more than that, Gary and Corey, in some cases, some voters in Pueblo County are actually describing all of this as harassment. Clerk and recorder Gilbert Bo Ortiz says people feel like they're being ostracized because their ballot didn't match. And that one young person even said the hassle has made her reconsider voting in the future. As of last Friday, there were 369 people whose votes hadn't been counted because of a mistake they made on their ballots. So now they're getting calls from political groups all across the country asking if they voted for Lauren Boebert or Adam Frisch. Ortiz says if the voter answers with a candidate that the caller did not want, they hang up. And this is exactly what Ortiz does not want. He says every vote should be counted without people feeling harassed.
We need to get our stuff together because it's not a good look for your party to be calling people and harassing them and trying to get them to vote for future elections.
Now, as the rest of the country waits for this race to be called, we are expecting to get an updated tally of votes in Pueblo County as soon as today. It is, of course, the deadline for overseas ballots to be returned, and we are told that the county already had hundreds waiting to be counted. So we will have to see what happens. I think everybody was refreshing their page very closely obviously that has slowed down quite a bit in the last several days, guys.
Yeah, it has. It'll be interesting. Boy, it's taken forever to get this done. So if somebody calls you and asks who you voted for, you don't have to tell them who you voted for if you don't want to.
No, of course not. I mean, I would never tell anybody who I voted for. I just tell you that I did in fact vote, and whatever's being handled is being handled. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
Well, and you can see why this is so frustrating, because everyone has gone through the political ads and all of the debates and everything. Right when you think you're done, nope, they're calling, they're knocking on your door. It's still not, figured out. It's very frustrating for them.
I mean, at this point, they're calling it election month, Corey. I think we're going to get it designated on our calendar at this time, guys.
There you go. All right,
It's almost
Jordan.
over, hopefully. Jordan,
Thanks.
thank you. Meanwhile, both Frisch and Boebert are in Washington right now, each preparing as if they will serve in Congress. Frisch is attending new member orientation for representatives-elect. He's one of several candidates in undecided races there, so they can be ready in case they win. Representative Boebert is there for meetings to choose GOP party leadership. And just announced last night, former President Donald Trump is trying to make it back to the White House.
Yep, he kicked off his 2024 presidential campaign as expected in Florida last night.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Yeah, Trump already filed the paperwork to make it official. He'll likely face a crowded field of Republicans, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and possibly former Vice President Mike Pence. As his campaign begins, Trump is also facing some criminal investigations, as you know. Justice Department is still investigating leading up to the January 6th insurrection on the U.S. Capitol. He's also being investigated for keeping hundreds of sensitive and some classified documents at his home in Mar-a-Lago. Investigators have not decided whether he should face criminal charges in either of those cases. Many Coloradan Republican leaders have turned against Trump now. Some blame him for the party's losses in Colorado last week. Republican candidates here who distanced themselves from Trump, as well as those who flirted with his election lies, both lost by double-digit margins.